when you have 49 million ounces of silver equivalent on a project and the thing's trading at, around, or you're doing a financing at 20 cents, that's a really good opportunity to get involved very cheaply on a project that's got already a really good start in ounces.
Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics, and I am joined by Steve Cope of Silver Viper Minerals, one of the companies we cover here on the show. And Steve, you guys recently just completed a financing, fortunately before the price of silver went too low. So good to hear that you are in good shape and have the reserves to do what you need. And perhaps you could walk folks through how that went and what you're going to be doing going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough decision to decide to do the financing when we did, seeing the share price come off. But with this market, we saw where we were and said, we better rip the band-aid off and do it now. I was actually shocked during the placement, how much retail interest we had in that placement. I don't think we've ever filled so many sub agreements up on a private placement before, and probably not shocked, but a little surprised at how eye-opening it was, how little money the big institutional investors have at their disposal right now. So I mean, all in all, I think it went very well. We had a lot of comments saying, like, as soon as we were announcing like the numbers that we did in the placement, that congratulating us, especially in this market, saying amazed that we could get even that level. But again, it speaks to the work that we've put in, especially on that retail side, and people that have been following us through shows like yourself and other newsletter writers and that have picked us up, and different there's a lot of interest in our company and a lot of support. And so we thank everyone who participated on that, and we're excited to be able to move the company forward and continue to provide results like people have seen in the past with our maiden resource and the drilling programs.
And so, do you think that was just a matter of people being familiar with the results and also thinking that things are on the lower side and a good time to get in, or what would you say about the response you had?
I mean, I certainly think there is. I agree. I mean, it's typically this is when you should be pouring the most money into stocks. I mean, I think it's difficult for people to be contrarian investors, but it's a lot better to buy low and sell high than to buy high and sell low. So I think there's that group that's kind of awakened, that certainly isn't, very strong supporters of anything silver, and they've gotten to follow our company over the last few years as we've continued to grow the story there, and seen us do what we say we're going to do and put out good results and grow the resource, and do everything the right way. And so I think there has been a lot of interest, and a lot of them are following us, and they see the opportunity with the dip in share price in our company. And then when you have 49 million ounces of silver equivalent on a project and the thing's trading at around, or you're doing a financing at 20 cents, that's a really good opportunity to get involved very cheaply on a project that's got already a really good start in ounces.
Yeah, and can you talk about some of the results you've had as well as what you're planning to do going forward now that the financing is completed?
Yeah, I mean, we got involved in the project and made a discovery at the El Rubi area, which was an area that had never been drilled before. We hit some multi-kilogram silver numbers associated with high grade gold as well, and grew that resource around an open pit heap leach deposit to start with at the El Rubi area. But that's what we've always said, that's just the start. You see our system, it contains that breccia structure is vertical, and one of the working models has been that when we get below the next rock type, those fluids where they're going to come up and hit the rhyolite system, that's where you're really going to see bonanza widths and grades, and where you start to build an underground operation. So the geophysics program we just completed highlights that. We were hoping to see a target at depth, and we certainly see a target at depth on El Rubi. So when we get back to drilling, that's going to be target number one, going down and starting to put some deeper holes into El Rubi and see if we can't follow those structures down and hit that large anomaly that we see appear through our geophysics program. But what also happened in that geophysics program was to light up a number of other targets to the east of El Rubi that were undercover. We saw some sniffs in our geochem at surface, but there's no structure or outcrop at surface there. But you can see similar size or even larger types of deposits that look like they could be other El Rubi. So we'll also be testing those blind targets with the drill rig when we get back to a new drill program as well.
And any timeline, I know with the current environment, perhaps taking things a little bit slow, but in any sort of timeline of what you're aiming for, given where we are now?
I mean, we're ready to go as soon as we get into a better market. We will need to raise a bit more capital to do a drill, like the drill programs that we want to do. Timing, well, we'll see. Talk to the Fed and talk to the governments around the world, and we'll see when we get a rebound in the silver market. But in the meantime, we're mapping, we're sampling, we're doing everything we can to keep our guys busy on site and to further look at this project and get to areas that we've never gotten to in the last 3 years, mapping and sampling and going. We're finding some old adits and workings that were previously undiscovered, which are on parallel trends. So again, there's lots of exciting stuff, and it's giving our guys that momentary breather. So they've been drilling steady since the end of 2018. So to give them that breather to go out and do a lot of that other work that we need to get done on the project, and we'll continue to plug away at that while we wait for the right timing to fire up a much larger, and frankly, when we do get to that market, we want to run a much larger program than what we've been running. We'll be adding drill rigs. So yeah, it's a frustrating for us because we're at a point where, like I said, we'd be adding drill rigs right now and growing the program, but we've got to be smart. We don't want to put ourselves in a position that would hurt our company and hurt our investors. So we'll be patient, and I don't think it'll be too long. I really, this pullback feels a lot like 2008 or even March 2020. So again, I think when things do start to recover, it's our sector that will always recover first, and we'll be patient. Well, like I said, we'll enjoy the good weather and we'll keep our grinding and understanding the project, but we're ready to go whenever this market starts to turn.
Well, a lot to be said for moving forward what you can, sometimes knowing when it's the right time to pause. And perhaps before we wrap up, could you just let folks know where they could get more information if they do have questions about the project or would like to get involved?
Yeah, and all the information's at www.silverviperminerals.com. You can email us at info@silverviperminerals.com, and yeah, we're more than happy to jump on and talk via email, talk on the phone. We love hearing from investors. We can talk about our, silver, about the company, whatever you guys like. We love everyone that we've been dealing with through you. We've built a lot of followers. We've got a lot of new investors, that have been coming from watching our, our various shows on Arcadia and other sites. So again, please don't hesitate to reach out. Don't be nervous. I know some people get shy and don't want to reach out to the CEO of the company. Or you can talk to Alicia if you'd rather talk to her versus me. I would understand that too. But yeah, no, anyways, we're more than happy to, answer any questions that anyone may have.
Well, and I think also you're pretty approachable and helps a lot. So silverviperminerals.com, and you can go to the contact tab and get your questions answered. And Steve, appreciate what you're doing out there, and not the easiest time right now, but just moving things forward, doing what you can, and we'll look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks, Chris. It's always a pleasure.